This episode has been brought to you by Manscaped. The new Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra is every man's cheat code to look good, feel good, and turn the page on confidence this year. Go to manscaped.com, use the code GOLTS20 for 20% off plus free shipping today. This week on the Heart of the Gulch YouTube show, we sit down with the marketing director of the brand new Friends in Low Places Bar on Broadway, Ivy Manfredi. In today's Walk the Line episode, Ivy gives us an amazing tour of the brand new bar, Friends in Low Places in Honky Tonk. Let's check out the episode. We are in the heart of the Gulch. I'm your host, Tony Mendoza, but you already knew that. Well, today I'm happy to say I have friends all over, especially in low places. But today my guest is the sales and marketing director for the brand new Friends and Locations Bar over there in Broadway. We got the one and only Ivy Manfredi in the building. What's going on? One more time.
Oh, thank you. That's really cute.
How are you doing, Ivy?
I'm doing so good. How are you? This has been like forever in the making, so I'm so glad we're finally here.
You know, it's crazy is when I've been wanting to talk to you was way back about 2 years ago, and you do such a great job of building yourself and your brand. We were talking about just before we started filming here is that, you know, you're getting rid of all of the red dresses.
Yeah, it's a long time coming, but my husband is like, I need to clear out the closet. But you wouldn't believe, like, I have over about 100 red pieces.
I can't even imagine that. Yeah. I mean, well, first of all, before we get into know all the different things that you have done in hospitality, let's talk a little bit about Northern California.
Yeah.
What part in North California?
So I was originally from the Bay Area. Okay. That's where I was born. And then I actually lived in Chico, California. My husband and I both went to Chico State University, graduated there, and then made our way out here. It's quite fun.
You know, so my girlfriend is originally from Modesto.
Oh, stop. In the Valley.
In the Valley. So I've learned a lot. And the folks that are watching this, shout out to you guys that are over there in Northern California, because it is such a different...
It's very different, especially, I mean, it's the biggest thing when my husband and I tell people we're from California is that we are from Northern California. There is a huge line between Northern and Southern Californians, especially those that have moved to Nashville. And it's a quite luxury to be from Northern California.
Well, you're right. And not only that, you see so many different landscapes versus Southern California. Oh, yeah. Now, I have a question. Do you hate it when people say Cali?
Yes.
Why is that such a big thing?
I've never called it that in my life. I don't know. It feels like even NorCal feels weird to me because I've never said that either. But I don't know. It's like when people say you have an accent too and you're like Tennessean, right? And it like you feel like, no, I don't. It's like that. Like when people do weird things about, like they assume something about California.
Do you already think that the person that says Cali is nowhere near from California?
100%.
100%.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so that was my biggest thing when I was starting to date my girlfriend is that I kept on calling it Cali.
Oh my gosh.
And she was like, please stop it. It's Northern California.
Yeah.
You guys say it out completely.
Yes.
What was it like going to school in Chico?
Well, it was a party school. I don't know if you know that, but Chico was literally how my parents allowed me to go to Chico State when I wanted to go to Santa Barbara, which is where they went. And they're like, no, Santa Barbara's too much of a party school. But I'm like, well, funny enough, Chico was in like Playboy magazine as one of the top party schools. And so it was a great experience though for myself. I lived just blocks away from the school and met my husband, and it was just a really small town community. So you got to know everybody and you could really build relationships.
I can't even imagine. So party schools in Texas, I'm from South Texas, so San Antonio. Our party school, no disrespect to anyone that went to Texas State, that was the big party school.
Okay.
But California, regardless if it was a party school or not, has some of the best education in the entire United States. So I think that you may be underestimating how good a degree from Chico is.
I don't think it's not a bad degree. I think it's one of the best degrees, actually. My degree's in communication studies, and I learned immensely there. But there was actually, funny enough, just because of how much Chico was a party school, they did not have sororities and fraternities. Like, that was not associated with the school. So that's the one regret I had with college is I didn't get to have that experience that I hear so much here in the Southern culture.
You know what? I'm 100% with you because me, too. I never went to a Texas A&M. I never rushed or anything like that. It seems like you're kind of out of a club, right? In a way.
Yes.
But I'm sure you've noticed this now, moving to the South, how much of a staple that is.
Oh my gosh.
That people come to school.
I'm sorry. I did not go to school with a football school. I did not watch football. And college football here in the South is a whole other world that I have gotten used to. And now grew to love it. But that was not something you dealt with in California at all.
Anyway, so making that transition to, Nashville, I mean, first of all, huge culture change. You are, I guess, hi, I'm the problem. It's me. It's us, because we transitioned here.
Yes.
So what was it like when you guys first moved to, Nashville?
To Nashville. Well, we moved originally to East Nashville, which we absolutely loved, and I'm so glad we lived there. But it was definitely a culture shock of, one, the foods. Food is very different. I can't find many healthy foods when I moved here. But people are just so much nice. They're so nice here. I have a better friend group here than I did actually back home, just because I feel like in Nashville, everyone is a transplant. So everyone moves here and they are accepting that they want to make friends. So I've made friends from all over the world and experienced so many different cultures and backgrounds that it just makes me feel more diverse of a person as well.
Talk about that, because a lot of people that are watching this that aren't located here in Nashville, it's very different when you realize how small of a town Nashville really is.
Oh my gosh. It is, one person and it's just this giant web that you can then get connected to somebody. And that's truly how I've gotten any of my jobs. LinkedIn, I'm a very big LinkedIn person, but it is just being on the ground. Once you get here, it's totally okay if you move here without a job, and going to work in the hospitality industry, especially in the restaurants, that's where you're going to meet so many people, and just being nice to people and starting conversations is how you can literally get anything. It's literally how I got my job today.
Well, I love that, because word travels fast here in Nashville. And I can only imagine, starting from, because when I first met Ivy, this is, believe it or not, our first time meeting in person, but I feel like you do such a great job of yourself, of posting as much as you possibly can.
Yeah.
So my first initial reaction was meeting Ivy when she was with the Virgin Hotel. And just real quickly, I know that's not the role today, but talk to me about the Virgin Hotel and, what it did for your career and, why the Virgin Hotel.
Yeah. I mean, Virgin was a rebel brand, obviously. I didn't want to go work for a Marriott or a Hilton, no disrespect to them, but I knew that I'm a creative. I like to do things that are a little outside the box. And when Virgin was coming to town, especially with Richard Branson being in the background, I knew that was going to be a really good cultural fit for me. That role, known as the life of the party, was one of probably the best career choices of my life. It completely changed everything that I do even now, of just being a socialite, but also it just balanced the factor that I love to make relationships with people. And that's how I was so successful. Granted, yes, I was planning events, I was booking cabanas, and we were getting people in the door, but more or less of it, I was enjoying those experiences with my clients. And I think that's what truly just set the tone. It's set very differently than what you're going to experience elsewhere.
So the Virgin Hotel, located here in Nashville, is located in Midtown, right on Music Row.
Yes.
So the type of clientele that you would have then was probably everywhere from high B-listers to A-listers that's stopping in that hotel.
I did so many record release parties. I worked with all the different record labels. I'm still very close with a lot of them too. And that is what kind of led me to Friends and Low Places.
What was some of your favorite release parties that you did at the Virgin Hotel? And what were some of the guests? What were some of your interactions with folks that people can only dream of?
Yeah, I mean, I'll have to say one of my best clients is Luke Combs. Luke Combs and Cappy are the two sweetest people I know ever. I did a lot of after parties for them, especially for when he won CMT Artist of the Year, or Entertainer of the Year, so sorry. And I have to say, Luke has such an incredible heart that my dad is a California Highway Patrol officer and they do an auction every year. Luke literally signed a guitar for me and I asked for a hat and he was like, how about a guitar? I was like, okay, great. And literally signed a guitar for me to send off to the Highway Patrol and so that they could use it for their auction and make money. So they're incredible. I mean, I've worked with Carrie Underwood. We've had Kane Brown in there. We've had Parmalee is one of my absolute other favorites. They're really coming up a lot right now too, and they're the sweetest people. Sam Williams, he has now a song going to be on that Cirque du Soleil show.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my gosh. So Sam and we were just texting the other day too. So I really keep a really great connection with a lot of these people as well.
It's amazing because Nashville, unlike any other city in the United States, where you're not very far off, you're maybe 3-4 people off from meeting someone with such big influence. And was that something that you learned coming into Nashville? How quick did you start realizing that it wasn't that far off on the web of people, of connections?
Yeah. My husband will hate me for this. My husband's a musician, and a lot of times when I would meet some of these people, I didn't know who they were, because country music was not a huge thing either in California, but that actually gave me a benefit because I didn't fangirl. I would just treat them as a normal person, which is what they only want here. So a lot of our events, yes, are we going to make sure you have incredible VIP experience, but no one was fangirling, and I think that's what allowed me to be successful.
When I think about the outfits that you wear, always amazing. You always look stunning.
Thanks.
And then I can only imagine from your personality, just getting to meet you here, it's just one of those things where I can see that you would make connections literally like that.
I do. I'm an Aquarius, so I don't.
Am I.
Oh my gosh, this is why. I don't really follow the horoscope kind of thing.
It's kind of close.
But when everyone tells me, "Oh, you're an Aquarius," I'm like, "Cool, I'll just tell them I'm Aquarius, and this makes sense." But no, I do believe it. That's just what's made me. That's just who I am as a person. I'm always going to be best friends. I want to tell you that you're my best friend. I want to say that you're my friend, and I want to help you out however I can in life too.
Is it so? Real quick for the folks, we're not going to go too far into Aquarius season, but what are some of the traits of an Aquarius that you have, or people have told you that you have to?
Oh, I'm very outgoing, which is great. I'm very creative. But I also do have introvertness of me too. I have to go home and kind of
decompress.
Yes. And I'm a little quirky. I'm a little weird. I definitely would say that.
Well, doing events, especially for Friends in Low Places and with the Virgin Hotel at one point, I mean, where's your place of peace? What is what's Ivy's thing when the events are going strong? There are big people that are showing up all the time in every location you've been in.
Yeah.
What do you do to fully relax?
Oh, to fully relax?
Yep.
Oh, I love a spa day. I have gotten into this now too, where I'm getting a massage basically every 2 weeks. And that is truly the way I figured out how to fully relax and decompress. Because otherwise I go home, and I won't lie, I'm a workaholic. I'm on my phone all the time. I'm on my laptop. So to fully relax, I have to go to the spa.
Okay, so a question that I'm going to have that I know some people are probably watching this that are still in college.
Yeah.
You said communications. Communications is my degree as well.
Yeah.
And what I'm very interested to know, is it a very seamless transition to go into a marketing manager position or a director? But tell me how different that is from something like a social media specialist. I mean, what is a marketing director, marketing manager doing that's completely different from the specialty positions?
Yeah, so I definitely have one of the most incredible teams right now with me at Friends in Low Places. Veronica is my social media manager, and I will tell you that girl knows everything about TikTok, about Instagram. She is definitely a Gen Z. I'm a very millennial, so being more in the marketing management, more marketing director, I oversee more of the strategy side point. So what we're looking at in this world is that we're creating the activations. We're creating what direction we want to go as in a brand, and then therefore our social media is able to reflect that, and she's able to take that information that we have then developed, and she'll go out and be able to make the content, make the reels, and be able to promote it to everybody. But honestly, for someone coming out of college, I think starting in social media management is a great segue. It's the same thing with restaurants. You start out as a host and you build your way up as a server, as a bartender. Same thing for marketing. As long as when you can learn every step of the business, it will help you succeed.
Right now, if you're in Nashville, you're driving around Nashville, you will see Friends in Low Places, billboards all over the place.
Yeah.
You marketing this brand is really seamless because it's all over.
Yeah.
Have you been doing that same type of budget for other companies as well?
So not the same type of budget. I will not lie. Garth and Trisha budget is a lot nicer than some places that I worked at before. Back in California, I was working for a real estate company, so I developed their entire brokerage. So what you're doing is you're creating all of the assets that they can utilize for the different agents. So creating those signs, and much less of a budget, obviously, than what you're going to see for billboards and so forth. Creating those tangible items and working on the brand aspect of it for marketing, 100%.
Yeah, because I'm telling you, it's literally, you guys have that. I honestly know that Friends in Low Places has a great budget because of all the locations of the billboards. Even right now, I believe there's even a Prime Now thing going on with Garth and developing Friends in Low Places. Has that brought a large group of people coming to the bar? Oh my
goodness. We have been so incredibly fortunate for our opening that we've had. Not only do we have Good Morning America, and the opening day we had Robin Robbins in the building live filming. That was incredible PR. This PR though too, this is where it comes really great. It's not me. It is not me by any means. We have an incredible PR team. Garth has an incredible PR team that has these great connections that's able to bring us all this items. But yeah, the Amazon Prime reality, it's a docuseries, has been the best thing for our building. We have people come in on the daily that tell us that they've seen the show and that they know the, color green wontons and they want to get those items. It is incredible, but it's also really scary of that too. It means we have to make sure that we are setting the expectations that they can get out of that show as well.
One thing that I'm very curious about when we're transitioning to Friends in Low Places is that brand. Mm-hmm. Now you went from the store that we just talked about, we went from Midtown to Hermitage.
Yes.
Back to the heart of Nashville, which is Broadway. Mm-hmm. I mean, there must be a very daunting challenge to go from all those different locations and putting yourself in such a recognizable street in all of Tennessee and the country.
Oh, it's incredibly intimidating, but it also is like invigorating too. I think it's every day I'm so excited to go down there and to, put our name on the map and just do something different as well.
How would you say is, if you wanted to create a successful experience on Broadway, how can you do it differently from the other 20 bars that are out there?
Honestly, it's what we're doing, just being the friendliest bar. You can never walk into our building, you'll never see a bartender that's like mad or is going to have an attitude with you. The way you're going to have the most different experience is that everybody is so nice and they have that Southern hospitality through and through.
I like that, because that's actually very true. And we've had people sitting in that chair that have played Friends in Low Places at this point, and they said that there's just a different type of buzz right now with y'all's organization. So real quick, we're going to take a quick break. We got to shout out to the sponsors of the video, and we'll be right back with Ivy.
This episode has been brought to you by Manscaped. The new Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra is every man's cheat code to look good, feel good, and turn the page on confidence this year. Go to manscaped.com, use the code GOLDS20 for 20% off plus free shipping today.
So, Friends in Low Places, it's one of those bars on Nashville that is brand new for 2024.
Yeah, 1 month in. We literally just celebrated our 1 month.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
What is it? How long did it take for the development? I know there's an Amazon Prime video showing it, but how long has it take to get Friends in Low Places onto Broadway?
Yeah, I mean, Garth purchased the building back in 2021. So we are now in 2024, and we had our soft opening in November 2023. So it takes about at least 3 years to get it to where it's at, and we're still continuously developing it as well.
Does it ever take, when you're inside the building, what are some of the key staples that makes it such a different Broadway bar experience?
I mean, it's almost 55,000 square feet. So we are one of the largest rooftops. We're one of the largest bars on Broadway in general, and it allows you to have a space for everybody. But everything you're getting from the lighting, the sound, the stage, it all comes from Garth's tour. So everything is his production value. So it's something very different than you're going to experience if you go to any of the other bars. Mm-hmm. I mean, you've got little touches in there everywhere. You could spend an entire day like going through all the different walls and seeing different things. But one of my favorite things is definitely the stage. So our stage is actually a retractable stage. So you can actually push it all the way in if you want, or pull it all the way out depending upon your dance floor size. But in the stage, there is this synergy, and it's cut out from Garth's tour that he had in Central Park, that he had over 1 million attendees. So having that is a very like Grand Ole Opry moment where all of our artists get to stand on that G and have a little bit of Garth with them every time they perform.
I love that. Actually, this season, on season 4, we had, I believe this was Kylie Fry.
Yeah.
And she was talking about how that was one of her moments. She went to go see Garth in the humongous Central Park.
Yes.
And it's one of those moments that a lot of people say that they've experienced that same thing. I had no idea that same experience you can find on the Broadway bar.
Oh yeah, and I mean the coolest thing too is if you're ever doing the staircase up to the rooftop, it's called the Stairway to 7. And that entire stairway is because one, Garth's favorite number is 7, if you didn't know that. But it's also because he's won Entertainer of the Year 7 times. But through that staircase, it's going to go through all the years that he's won Entertainer of the Year, but it's also going to have some of those really big concert experiences. And I'm waiting for the day that somebody can point themselves out in these big crowd pictures and be like, oh, that was me from Central Park. But it's a really cool experience.
As of right now, the biggest buzz that I saw was seeing Shaq walking around Friends in Low Places.
Yes.
I mean, what was that like to have Shaq in the building?
Oh my gosh. Well, as you know, like I'm almost a 6 foot tall blonde. I stand very tall, but when that man walked in that door and he stood up next to me, and I was like, oh my goodness, he is a huge, huge man, but he's the nicest person ever too. Him and Trisha were actually both behind the bar. They were both slinging drinks, and he was walking around. He wanted to make sure he said hello to everybody. He said hi to the band performing. It was just truly you never know who you're going to see at Garth's.
Well, that's exactly right. So is it one of those Broadway bars where the experiences may vary every week, every month?
Oh, yes.
Where you just never know who's coming in.
Yeah, and I mean, we've already had that too of having, Bryan Cranston and Aaron Paul were in from Breaking Bad, and that created such a huge amount of guests coming in, and we're like freaking out, and it was super fun. But yeah, no, it is like, and we have guest bartenders all the time too of coming in that are celebrity bartenders, and we've got a lot more coming up this weekend too. So you just really never know, who's going to be there at what time, and just it's fun.
And also that's the thing, right? So I'm curious about this. On Broadway, if you're going to show up on a Eclipse Monday and be acting up and throwing stuff around, or if you show up on a Saturday, I mean, how different are the types of folks that are coming and visiting Friends in Low Places throughout the week?
Throughout the week, I mean, quite frankly, we always have like our, people that are going to be at the conventions are going to be earlier in the week. We might have some more of the like older generations as well, but always at night, we are just so busy with younger generations, which is really cool for country music and a lot of people being Garth fans, just because, he was in retirement for a very long time for when most of us were born. So it's really cool to see that he is, someone for everybody.
Transcending different generations. I mean, so you talked about having the main floor stage, which is an amazing stage. I've seen people play it there too.
Yeah.
Now talk about the rooftop, because the rooftop is one of the funnest places to go in town right now.
Yes. And I mean, it is the largest rooftop you're going to get on Broadway. We are split up into 3 different sections, basically. So we have our huge tiki bar in the back, which is currently tented. So even if rain or anything like that, you're still going to be completely covered. You've got our big, beautiful tiki bar, which has frozen pina coladas, because you can't have a Garth bar without 2 pina coladas. And we have frozen spicy margaritas. And then we have our big stage back there that performs for bands for most of the day. And then we transition to DJs at night, which this is where we had some really big celebrity DJs come in, like Brandy Cyrus performed. Grand opening weekend, she came in and did a surprise pop-up. And she is the sweetest thing ever, too. She brought in her entire family. Her brother, Trace, even hopped up and did a pop-up song, too, which this just worked out perfectly because it was after the Olivia Rodrigo concert.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, and all these girls were just going crazy, and it was one of the most fun sets that I've seen up there.
That's the crazy thing, is that we were talking about this off camera about how your busy season, you talk about having a busy season in your other positions.
Yes.
Man, summer is coming, and it's coming quick here in Nashville. What are you guys expecting? How are you guys preparing the staff for that type of influx of fans? And CMA Fest is that's gonna rock the world. I can't wait to see who's gonna be at Friends in Low Places for CMA Fest.
Stay tuned. We have some really incredible surprises coming this summer. I'm not gonna lie. I wish I could tell you, because they are like huge.
If it was later on that we were dropping this, I would have her tell me. But since it's gonna be so new, I'm excited for everyone to see all the special guests.
Yes. But no, I mean, our venue can hold over 2,000 people. So like we have a lot of people coming through that door on a daily, and it is just going to get even crazier of the bachelorettes. We just launched our new large formats, so you can get these. It's called Cheers in a Cup. It's one of Trisha Yearwood's cocktails from Williams-Sonoma, and it's in a giant disco ball. So I don't know about you, but me and my girlfriends, we can definitely get some Cheers in a Cup on a Sunday fun day up there on that rooftop.
I was going to say that. What is the best day for visitors to come and not get bombarded with too many other visitors? When's the best day?
I mean, honestly, I don't know. It's Nashville. Is there ever a good day? But I want to say, that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays are, fantastic for that you can have that experience. You're still getting, our live music is every day from 11 a.m. to 2 a.m. We never stop music. But there's definitely, you're going to be a little bit more spacious maybe at those times. But I'm a Sunday fun day kind of girl. So I say go out to the rooftop.
It's always fun because one thing, whenever you are posting on your personal account, I'm always impressed that you're always somewhere around the bar. I know that it's work, but is work starting to feel a little bit like home, a little bit like you want to share those experiences with other people all the time?
Oh my gosh. Well, I'll go out on Broadway and, because I'm going to go support my other friends that are also at places, and I'll look to my friends and be like, do you hate me? But I really want to go to Friends. They're like, no, we want to go to Friends too. So I do definitely end up there even if I'm not working, because it's just a really great environment to be hanging out in.
Have you heard all of Garth's discography at this point?
Oh gosh, yes. But Friends in Low Places, I'm not going to lie, I think that song plays probably at least once an hour, maybe not, but it's such a catchy one. You can't not sing Friends in Low Places. The funniest thing is it's been catching a lot of attention lately on like other stars, like Jonas Brothers has been singing it, they had Travis Kelce singing it, so Friends in Low Places is having a comeback song right now.
Is it almost like when you're in the environment so much that Garth's songs, does it start to become like you're just going through and you don't even realize it's a Garth song playing anymore?
Oh no, I definitely know it's a Garth song though, because I think you can definitely tell. But no, you definitely start tuning things out. Like I'll do tours all the time, and it becomes background music to me. But at the same time, it's comfort music as well.
You know, for events, because you know you do so many events, and if someone that's watching this today that is interested in creating an event over there at Friends in Low Places, what are some of the areas that you have seen being utilized the most?
Oh, well, we have one of the coolest event spaces that is literally, I want to say, in the world, but quite frankly, definitely on Broadway. Our third floor is completely Trisha's studio kitchen. So that space is where she will be filming a cooking show, which is so cool that you'll be able to have an experience. You could have a private event in there and have a private chef or have the bartender sitting there on the island, but you have completely soundproof windows that overlook Broadway. So you can have the ultimate people watching, but also not hear Broadway.
Wow.
It is, I'm not selling it enough to you because it is such an incredible space that you feel like you're literally in Garth and Trisha's home.
So also, does that lead to the food? So what are some of your favorite dishes that you've had to experience there at Friends in Low Places?
Just yesterday we had our food photo shoot, so you should see our spread. We ate everything. But no, as you know, so every single menu item is Trisha Yearwood's recipes, which is really cool too, because we have a lot of events that actually she'll sign cookbooks. So you could come in and you could eat that, you know, her dad's roasted chicken, and then you could take that home and you can make it yourself for your family too, which is super cool and very unique. But my favorite food items, I'm definitely a sucker. Oh, we make some really good sausage balls. I know we title them sausage biscuit bites because no one wants balls on a menu, but those are delicious. She also makes a really good Sunday supper, and that was the same meal that they made for James Taylor when they got to meet him. So that was a really cool, that's a really fun family experience you can have for your guests.
Is it still a ability to book it out for brunch and everything like that? So is the brunch menu completely elevated like I expect it to be?
Yeah, so we only do brunch for private events. So we don't have brunch in our honky tonk levels. Our honky tonk levels is just going to be our standard menu, which is absolutely delicious, but we do open at 10 a.m. But for brunch experiences in Trisha's Kitchen, you have so many different fun options. Of course, pimento cheese sandwiches, which with the Masters this weekend, we are making a lot of those.
That's true. We are filming this during the Masters weekend.
Yes.
And since you were, you know, part of the Hermitage and you enjoyed being around golf, I have a game for you to play.
Okay, let's
You ready
do
to play
it.
this game?
Yes.
All right, let's do it. Let's see. I got to turn on my thing here. Okay, so the way the game goes is, do you know your Brooks?
Okay.
So going after Garth Brooks, I'm going to give you a list of names, different Brooks, and I want you to see if you can guess which Brooks it is. Okay, now the first one, I'm going to make it a little bit easier. Talking about the Masters, this Brooks, out of the list of Brooks, hasn't won a Masters event yet. He just won a 2023 PGA Championship. What Brooks am I talking about?
Brooks Koepka.
If
you ask my husband, that's my boyfriend. I'm not gonna lie, he's my favorite one.
Okay, so you know one Brooks.
I do.
All right, let's go on to the next question here. So this Brooks coached for the Oklahoma City Thunder when Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, and James Harden were on there. Do you know which Brooks that is in the list of Brooks here?
Oh, Lordy. Is this basketball, by the way?
This is basketball.
This tells you exactly I'm not a sports
Well, you can
girly.
cross one out the list.
Okay, well, let's say this sounds like a Hubie Brooks.
It is not
Dang
Hubie
it.
Brooks.
Dang
I'm
it.
sorry.
That's okay.
It is Scott
I should have went with
Brooks.
Scott.
Okay, so now you got one off the list there. Okay.
Got it.
So this Brooks played for the Memphis Grizzlies. What Brooks am I talking about?
This is Dylan Brooks.
This is Dylan Brooks. Well, all right. So there's two more Brooks on the page, so I don't think you can mess this one up.
Nope.
This Brooks is a former baseball player.
Okay.
Can you tell me from the list of Brooks?
It has to be Hubie Brooks now.
There you go. Now it's Hubie Brooks. And then my last Brooks.
Yes.
Give me, how about this? Ivy, give me a factoid on Garth Brooks that a lot of people do not know.
Oh, fun. Actually, this one, because a lot of people will not know this, Garth Brooks' birthday is February 7th. My birthday is February 8th.
Wow, yeah. I didn't know it was like that.
Yeah.
So you kind of know your Brooks.
I do.
You did know one of the Brooks that I knew you were going to know about the PGA Championship. Yes. So when it comes to Garth Brooks and all the different things that he does, I mean, how many chances have you had now at this point? How involved is he with his bar?
Oh gosh, they are so incredibly involved. I mean, he is truly one of the best people to work for. So with our building, we are, Strategic Hospitality operates us, but Garth and Trisha own the building, and they own Friends and Low Places, and they are the best bosses ever. I meet with them every single Wednesday. Like, we talk all the time. Garth will email me. They are truly the best individuals to surround yourself by.
Well, that's awesome. And, that was one thing that I looked up when I was looking up the Prime Now video.
Yes.
What you call it, docuseries.
Yes.
I looked up, I didn't know who Strategic Hospitality was until then. And now I got hooked up with Benjamin.
Yes.
One of the guys that runs Strategic Hospitality, which is the Patterson House.
Bastion, Catbird Seat, Henrietta Red, Kisser, Locust, all of the James Beard Award nominee restaurants. They're the ones.
It's absolutely incredible. And I mean, that hospitality group who worked directly with Garth Brooks, I mean, talk to me about what it's like to be operated by that hospitality group.
Oh, it was the biggest reason why I went over here. To be sitting in these tables and having these meetings with them, you just feel inspired. Hearing, we talk all the time about experiences and how we can make this better, and they come to things of what they've learned in their past, and just being around those people just make you feel smarter. It makes you grow, and it is truly a mentorship that you never thought you needed, but it is incredible.
Well, it's one of the groups in here in Nashville, hospitality groups I'm talking about, that is quintessential with the city. It's unlike anything else.
Yeah.
Now, okay, so a question along the lines of Garth Brooks and just your experiences with the entire system.
Yeah.
What has been one pinch me moment that you've had? Oh, actually, that may actually be a question here. Hold on. Real quick. Would you be down to do a segment on our show called Crowd Noise, where friends of you submitted questions for you to answer?
Yeah, this sounds great.
All right, let's do it real quick. So let's go into Crowd Noise.
Hey, Ivy, what are your top 3 pet peeves about working in hospitality?
I recognize that voice.
Yes, you should.
Top 3 pet peeves at working in hospitality. Definitely. Honestly, I'm such a people pleaser, so it's really hard for me when, if we have demanding clients. That's really hard after COVID. A lot of people have changed after COVID. So that's definitely a pet peeve about working in hospitality. It is being 24/7. My job is never going to be a job that you can clock in and then clock out. I'm going to constantly be going. And then third pet peeve about hospitality industry is there's just too many dang good restaurants always opening up, and I have to go to all of them because I want to experience it.
Well, that was one thing I was going to wonder, is that with hospitality being, events and all these new things that are coming to Nashville, I can only imagine that it gets your social clock. It must really mess with it a little bit.
I'm incredibly busy, and I live by my calendar. So everything goes in a Calendly, and if it's not in my calendar, it's not happening. But no, I definitely have to plan out. I was at a sushi date with my girlfriend the other week, and we're planning out 2 months from now about when we're going to get together, just because of how busy Nashville is.
Is it kind of crazy for the folks that are watching this right now, talking about, your calendar being, the director of marketing, Friends and Low Places? I mean, what does that content calendar look like, in the May time, in June, in the summertime? Is it almost is it a pinch me moment to see the names that possibly may be coming to the bar?
Oh my gosh, yeah. Well, this is going to air after May, so I can talk about it right now. But I mean, I'm planning currently Tyler Childers' after party, which we're doing 2 nights with him. I'm super excited for that. And we've just got a lot of really fun things coming up with Cinco de Mayo. And
has to.
Yes. And we've got the NHL playoffs is probably coming up. So we'll probably have a watch party with them as well. So there's a lot of really cool things happening in the city. city we're just getting started.
What is that like? So, being a director in marketing, what's that like to have so many different events and so many different, it's nonstop because that's what Nashville is.
Yeah.
What's that like for you and your time management and not to go insane?
Yeah, I mean, we delegate, that's for sure. And that was the biggest thing with our opening too, is just having my team that we can delegate. Like I wasn't there for Good Morning America, but I was there for that evening with, Ruckus's surprise set. But we have a huge calendar in our office and it has listed every single event that's going on in the city. We have, conventions that's going on in the city. We have our private events that are happening on the building. So we try to look at it every single day and try to just delegate on who's going to be manning what.
Okay, well, actually, I got another question here for you to answer. And I want you to answer it in two ways. One with your personal and then one with Friends in Low Places. Okay, here we go.
What is your favorite publication you've ever been posted on?
Nashville Voyager. That's what it was.
That's right.
Sorry. So Nashville Voyager did a really incredible spread about me when I was at Virgin, and I swear the entire page looked so red. I actually got it completely printed because it was such a cool thing of myself. But it talked a lot about being a socialite and just, taking over the scene in a different way. That was a really cool one. And then I had a lot of features in Nashville Lifestyles as well for weddings. So we had a lot of mentions in Nashville Lifestyles for the wedding programs that I developed there. So that's another really popular one I love.
So now let's bring it to Friends in Low Places. What's been some of the coolest places that you've seen posted, and not only posted, but talked about in other publications about Friends in Low Places?
I mean, well, Good Morning America. Huge. I mean, that's a huge one. Getting to go back and watching that. Obviously, Amazon. You've got, I don't know if you know this, but Garth has a podcast every single morning. And I fangirled real hard for the first 2 episodes he did. When I started working there, he mentioned my name. And this is when I didn't really know Garth too terribly well. And that is a really, really huge thing there about Friends in Low Places. But what else have we been seeing in every single magazine? And we're about to do a media open house as well. So I'm sure we're going to get a lot more publications and press.
That just sounds so challenging to me because I think about, from all the groups that we've had in the show, right, even to Hattie B's, there hasn't been a rollout like what you guys are currently experiencing that I've been experiencing with you because having you on the show. Yeah. So there's so many things from media rollouts to NHL watch parties to you name it. I mean, it's what's been so far in the short amount of time that you guys have been open to the public. What has been some of your, besides Good Morning America, some of your favorite events that you've hosted so far?
Oh, favorite events. I actually just did the AIMP's after party, and they are the Association Independent Music Publishers. So we had a lot of artists that are the people that are writing all the songs. So they had an award show at the Ryman, and they all came over afterwards. And that moment was where I had my full 360 moment too, of after leaving Virgin, there were so many people from different record labels and different artist managers that were there at the event and were like, oh my God, you're here now. So I think that's my favorite event that I've hosted now already.
Well, you know what? So speaking of that, I have my last 2 questions on the show. And my first question, always, these guys know I ask it all the time, always has to do with hate. Okay. It has to do with the doubters, has to do with the people that didn't believe in your vision. Whether it was you and your husband moving across the country to move to Nashville without a job, were there folks out there that didn't see the vision, didn't see what mission you were on? And how do you not allow that to give you imposter syndrome?
Oh my gosh. Well, obviously moving to Nashville without having a job. I had a lot of people were like, are you sure that's a great move? And we had never been to Nashville either. We literally decided Nashville was a big what if for us. My husband's like, I want to be around people that are like-minded and musicians as well. And I had a lot of friends that were like, I don't think it's going to work. I think you're going to come back. And here we are, and thriving more than I probably ever could have imagined. That was definitely a big hard time. And, that was also, I moved here when I was 25 years old. And when you're 25 and you're making a big move like that, it's a lot going on in your personal life too, and just growing. And, I've been married for almost 6 years now. So you go through a lot of those challenges too, while balancing a marriage and also balancing these crazy careers. It's been a really fun journey, but it's been really, really good.
So what could you tell someone that's going through that same same process, that struggling process of having people believe them, what piece of advice can you give to those folks?
Find your support team. Like, find those people that really support you and lean on them. Like, my husband is the biggest supporter of mine and has let me do anything I dreamed of. And likewise, he plays golf every day. But it is definitely finding those people that support you. And I have no problem of cutting ties with people that are not on the same, path as me. I think we outgrow a lot of friends, and, we just continue to develop and grow.
Okay. And then other than my last question, because my last question is going to be what's going on in 2024, bringing it back to, Friends in Low Places. I mean, what is two questions around that? One, what is your favorite Garth Brooks song and why? And then the last question is now getting to work with Garth and his team. I mean, and you already told me about his birthday, but what else are some cool experiences that you've had one-on-one with him?
Okay, so favorite song is definitely Neon Neighborhood. It's a newer song that came out, but I don't know if you know this, but basically we are renaming Broadway to be known as the Neon Neighborhood because of all the different neon signs, and all of us, different bars are coming together, which is a really cool thing. Like, I'm very close with a lot of the different events people that are at the other bars, and we're all just really good friends. So we are our neighbors, and it's a friendly neighborhood as well. Something really unique about Garth, I would definitely say he doesn't like spicy food.
Really?
Yeah, which is,
wow.
I know, I'm a hot chicken kind of girl, does not like spicy food, which is surprising for Nashville.
That's very surprising.
Yeah, so we don't have any Nashville hot chicken on our menu, unfortunately. But
well, you guys both have this go-getter mindset.
Yeah.
I could see it from the docuseries that Garth definitely has it. I can see that you definitely have it just by seeing your journey.
Yeah.
And it's been all inspiring for me, too, to watch it. And I hope that you continue to post about it because I think that's the funnest thing about it is to see everything. Now, my last question, 2024, we're filming this in the spring, but by every time we'll see it will be in the summer. It will be going crazy in the city. What are some things you personally are looking forward to the rest of 2024? And then also, what are you looking forward to professionally?
Yeah, I mean, personally, I'm excited because now I work Monday through Friday, so I get my weekends off.
Oh, that's a big deal.
I know, it's a big deal.
What are you doing there on the weekends?
I like to hang out there. Like I said, it's a good place to hang out.
I thought you had to work during the weekends.
No. And also, I mean, I have an incredible social media manager that she'll tag me in a lot of things so I can reshare it too. But people do. They reach out to me like, your job looks really exhausting. I'm like, it is exhausting. Don't get me wrong. But I do definitely spend a lot of time in that building. But no, so I work Monday through Fridays primarily. So I'm like really excited to actually enjoy weekends off this summer and getting to go to the beach more often, go to the lake and have those Sunday fun days on the rooftops. And then professionally, really excited we have some really big events coming in, private events, where I get to plan events for like 1,000+ people. So those are really, I know it's crazy, right? Like I went from doing weddings of like 150, 200 and doing cocktail parties for around that range to now doing events averagely like some of them are up to 1,000 guests.
And the cool thing about it is that you don't feel, I think one thing that is really cool about your story is that it's the same thing how I feel here is that we're not really that like fangirly.
No.
So it's really, really cool because with having a name like Garth Brooks and Friends in Low Places now on your resume and just having it in your background, it opens up the door to so many bigger names and bigger opportunities that come inside the building.
Oh, yeah.
And it's so cool that you don't feel you wouldn't freak out if any of our friends were to meet someone like a Garth Brooks or a Morgan Wallen, they would literally be freaking out.
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, and Garth and Trisha were there for friends and family and got to meet a lot. They got to meet my family. They made me look really cool to my parents and it was really fun. But those are moments that last a lifetime for my family. And it's something that I'm just so pleasured that that's what I get to experience all the time.
Okay, so I'm excited for the people to experience your Walk the Line episodes, what we call it the Walk the Line. What do you think would be a fun thing for the folks to see about your day in the life at Friends in Low Places? Oh my
gosh. Well, just getting to experience all the different floors, getting to go walk through that venue and seeing all of that. But we'll really dive into Trisha's kitchen because I think I'm biased, but that's my favorite. That's my home place.
Okay. Well, the way that we set it up is you look straight into that camera right there. You say your name and you say, "This is how I walk the line," just like the Johnny Cash song.
Oh, love it.
Okay. And I'm going to play the applause and then you do it right there. Okay. In 3.
I'm Ivy Manfredi, and this is how I walk the line.
Hey, Ivy.
Hey guys, I'm Manfredi. You're welcome to Friends in Low Places right here on Lower Broadway. Come check it out. And we just slipped on up to the Oasis, where we've got our beautiful interior bar and then our tiki bar, which features our live music every day. Oasis without a gorgeous rooftop bar that overlooks Broadway with 10 feet tall palm trees and 2 pina coladas.
Welcome to Trisha's Studio Kitchen, where we host all our private events for up to 175 guests with literally the most incredible views of downtown Broadway. Like any good concert, you've always got to snag your merch. Make sure to stop by the retail store the next time you're here at Friends.